Hello Stampers, this is Sheila. Welcome to my studio. I'm an independent demonstrator and my blog is Stamping Wishes. Today we're going to be kind of doing a twist on the flower pot. I think a lot of people have made the flower pot card before, and it does have the little insert that pulls out, and I've got the best moments in my life happen with you when it says friend here. And then whenever they want to open it up to prop up the design on it, it props up into an easel card. So let's go ahead and get started making this. All right, so what we're going to start off first before we start on the measurements is let's go ahead and finish propping the rest of our pieces we'll need for inserting. Get the right little bucket here going, and I've gone ahead and done some of the flowers ahead of time. Let me just kind of pull out what I've done, and we'll be putting dimensionals on them to give them some deal. But anyway, we're using the large daisy punch, we're using the leaf punch, and we're using the medium daisy punch. And since we've already done our large daisy punch, I won't be using that one this evening, but this one here, we'll go ahead and do another leaf. I needed one more leaf, and let me put that off to the side, and I needed two more daisy punches. Okay, so let's go ahead and get those done. So we're just going to go ahead real quickly and punch me out two more of the daisies. Earlier I was using the thick Whisper White, and I found it was a little bit tough to get it to punch in this punch, so you may have to be careful with that. I just thought the sturdiness of it would be a good idea, but maybe not. So okay, let's go ahead and do this. We need one more leaf, so we'll go ahead and take a scrap here, and this is a good way to use up a lot of your scraps for your white and your green and different items like that. Let's set the punches off to the side here. Okay, so, and let's put our scrap over here. So let's go ahead. I'm using Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and we're going to use some Pear Pizzazz on the leaves. So let's go ahead and shade that. And what I found that kind of I liked the look of it was I came through and did kind of a streaky effect, which when you use the what do you call it, it's a stylus. Get it straight in my head. When you use a stylus to shape them, then it looks more like leaf work. Okay, so I just did a little bit like that on it. So let's go ahead and put this away. And then for the daisy, I'm using the Crushed Curry. I thought it was a pretty color with it. So we need to go ahead and get our two. And what I kind of did is a combination of them. Is I'm doing yellow with white. So we'll just have to color in one of the white ones. And there again, I just kind of did the little coloring like this. And hopefully I've got all of this in the view. Okay, and then we want to take and put, of course, Winkostella. We can't do flowers without our Winkostella, right? Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And I do like to kind of get quite a bit of the Winkostella moving on here, because I just like the look of the real sparkle when it catches the light. So we'll just go ahead and put it all in there. And something else that I've found, that when I'm shaping my flowers, the Winkostella makes it a little bit damp, and they seem to form a little bit easier too. So that's a little bit of a hint there. Okay, so that looks good. So let's go ahead and you can use any kind of stylus that you prefer. Now I do albums, so I do have some of my mats, and I use a heartfelt stylus. They come in different sizes, so depending on what floral I'm working with, I can do it. So what we're going to do is you flip it over from the color that's there, and you just draw that leaf in and see how it makes the forms almost like the veins in a leaf and everything. And so when you flip it over, you've got that nice little dimension to it. So let's go ahead and do this one here. And you want to draw it towards you when you're doing this. And you can even come in from the sides like veins if you want to give it a little bit more dimension. You can experiment and play with it. Okay. And now let's go ahead and do our flowers. And again, you draw it in and you can see how the daisy just starts to, petals just start to form just with a little pressure. And then when I flip them over, I take the larger stylus ball and then you just kind of do a circular motion. And when you do, it gives you that nice formation of your flower. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip this one over, bring it in. There we go. But I just thought this set came out so cute today when I started playing with it, and so I wanted to hurry up and get a film put on it and let you see what it looks like. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll start decorating, where I'm going to just kind of set those off to the side for right now. But let's bring in our pieces that we're going to be using. So what we have is our flower pot. Let me bring that to the side so you can kind of see it. Our flower pot, and the cardstock I'm using is the new terracotta tile. I just love the colors that, and I thought the pot was really kind of fitting for that, the style of card. But this one measures 3.5 by 9 inches, and you're going to score it at 2 inches and at 5.5 inch. Now, when I score mine, I score it at the 2 inch, and then I flip it over and score it at 5.5. This way, what you end up getting is the shaping you need, and everything folds correctly against your inside of your score line. Okay. So that's the, and we'll come back to that piece in a second. All right, this is the base of your card. It measures 4.25 by 5.5, and I've scored it at 5.5, and then I scored it at 3 inches, and that's where we're going to get the easel portion of the card working in here like so, okay? And then for the inside of the flower pot, and all of this will be out on my blog, all the measurements, so you don't need to worry about writing it down. Just go over to my blog. All the supplies and measurements will be there. But the white portion of the card is 2 3/4 by 4.5, and then the base of the pullout is 2 7/8 by 4 5/8. Okay, so we'll set this off to the side for right now, and we'll go ahead and start working on our pot itself. Now, I kind of liked shading it a little bit, but to get the shape of our pot in here, what we need to do is to come alongside here, and we're going to take it at, and we can erase that later, it actually won't show once this is down and everything, but we're going to take and measure 1/4 inch in. So let's get our ruler over here and do your little pencil mark, 1/4 inch. And then over here, you want to do 1/4 inch also, and a pencil mark. And then what you want to do is come up here, because you're going to do this at an angle. I'm do this without messing up my flowers there. Okay, so you want to get it until you're lined up with this line here, and right at the edge of there, and draw you a little line. That's what we're going to cut there. Okay. And then the same thing on this side here. Find your fold line and then come down here. And we're going to cut into there. Now, we're not cutting this upper portion here. We're just going to trim into here. You can use your trimmer on this if you want, or you can use scissors. And to save time tonight, I'm not usually very good at cutting long areas, but we'll try it instead of bringing out the cutter. That way we can show you. So we're going to come up here and cut right up to there, okay? Erasing to do, we'll erase this here. Okay. All right, so that gives us the base of the card. You want to make sure that you burnish it real well so that your pieces all fit in nicely. Now, the next thing I did to give me this trim that you see right here, I took the new Perfect Parcel Die Set and used this piece right here. And this item measured at 1/2 inch by 3.5, I believe it was. Let's make sure. Yeah, it's a 1/2 inch by 3.5 inch, and then I just ran this through it, and that's the decorative piece I got, and I just thought that really added to the flower pot. So we'll go ahead and flip this over and put a little bit of glue on it and get it on to the flower pot. Okay. Let's bring this on in here. Very pretty. Isn't that cute? Okay. So the next thing that I did was to take our, let me see. Here, I tried to keep everything together so it'd be a little bit easier to find. Anyway, I used our Whisper White ribbon here, and what I really, it's a flax ribbon, and it was really too wide. I didn't want anything super wide tying this piece. So what I did was to bring in about 3 rows and just cut down those 3 rows like so. And this is probably longer than I really needed, but I find it's easier to tie if I allow myself the extra ribbon space. Tie this, and we're going to do just a standard little knot on it. And we'll bring it over this way a little bit more. Get it straightened out here. And do the standard rules. I think it's right over left and then left over right to make a nice little knot out of it. And any way we look at it, I'm going to be using a little glue dot behind it. So. And it's starting to fringe on me, which I want it to do, but not until I get my bow tied, or my knot tied. Okay, that looks good. Okay, so let's just go ahead and bring this under here. Okay, and let's go ahead and put our glue dot. Let's get it out here. And I think that looks good right about there. All right, so then as you can see, all of this started fraying, which I wanted it to do because I thought it came out really cute that way. So I just used my tool and went ahead and finished opening up the ribbon. And then we just trim it off so it makes kind of a cute little frilly piece there. So let's just go ahead and give it a little bit of a haircut there. Isn't that cute? I just love it. All right, so next let's go ahead and stamp our friend. And I'm just going to get a scrap of white paper right here. And I really didn't have any particular measurements. What I did was when I stamped the friends, and I just kind of cut around it. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Pear Pizzazz for that. So let's get that over here. And I tried to get it as close to an edge so I wouldn't have to cut two edges. Let's see, I'm hoping I'm getting this in frame here. Yeah, I think that looks good. I wanted to make sure I'd left enough edges to do my trim work that I'm doing on it. Okay, so then I just went ahead and came as close as I could without cutting the lettering off. And then I came up at an angle with the letter this way. And then I came over and down this way. And that gave me just enough right there to put my friend there right on the border of it. Okay, and I did not use dimensions on this. I just went ahead and adhered it like it was. So let's go ahead and do that. This one over here. There we go. Isn't that precious? All right, so I should have left all my little pieces in my little bucket I had for them. All right, so let's go ahead next and bring out the base of the inside of the flower pot. And we're going to use our trio punch, and let's go ahead and round the corners on those, the detailed trio punch. Okay. Out real well. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now we can, I'll stamp it first before we adhere it, and that way if I mess up we can flip things around. Okay, so let me bring out this piece again to kind of show you how I stamped it and decorated it. And so we'll go ahead and bring in our wording, and you want to bring it down. I am using the memento for it. And let's line this up so we make sure that we get it. Oops. And we probably wanted to bring it right about there. I think this looks good. We don't want to get it up too high, otherwise it'll interfere with the flowers on the top. So let's go ahead and set that aside. And then I use this, and I had put 3 here, but really they don't show. What I am going to do is go ahead and do the 2, and then that way we're not covering up everything. So let's go ahead and bring this in. And let's put it, because I want the daisy right above there. Okay. And then this one will bring about here. There we go. All right. Set this aside over here. Now let's get our crushed curry out, and then one of the daisy. Again, all of these are from the Daisy Lane. Just love the set. So if you haven't added this to your collection, you really should. The bundles are really reasonable, and it coordinates with our original daisy, the larger daisy punch and stuff. So it's a really great deal. Let's see. Beautiful. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's go ahead and move this out of the way, and then we can go ahead and adhere this. I'm going to be adhering this to this, so let's go ahead and get that done. And bring our glue in. Beautiful. Okay, so the best thing that I find is that go ahead and slide your card on into your flower pot, and this way you know exactly where you're going to need your flowers to be. They're a little bit over the edge, but not all that much. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in our large, and I did take and use the terracotta on the edges. Now I lightened it up when I put the Wing Castella on, but I really kind of like that look. And to get the dimensions that we're getting here and stuff, the first one I'll put on with a glue dot, but then the next layer and the layer putting it on, I'm going to go ahead and use the dimensions on that. So let's go ahead and get our tool here and right there. And be sure that when you go to put your flowers together like this, you want to alternate the leaves on it before you set it down into there. Very pretty. Okay, so let me get this one and one of the white ones, which we'll use these two. And I'm going to go ahead and use my little dimensions on the center one though. So let me go ahead and pull this over into here. And we're going to put that down over here. And bring, again, making sure that you alternate those petals, okay? And then, let's see, did I get them alternated enough before I stuck it down? There, okay. And then what we're going to do is take one of the dimensions again and put it onto the large flower. Okay, and that just gives us a nice large layer there. Okay, and then we can look at where we want to set it, and of course we'll want it to set over and with a little bit of the edging. So I like the way that looks, but we'll wait to put everything on until we get all of our pieces together. So these little ones. For the big one, I'm going to go ahead and use a big, and these are the clear faceted gems. I'm going to use the big one for the big one, the big daisy, and two for the little daisies. But I like the way the colors came out to blend with this card. So okay. Gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? Can you, I don't know if you can, I'll bring it up a little bit, see if you can see the frosting on there from the Wing Castella. Okay, so let's go ahead and slide this in now. And you can just bring those out if they get in the way. Okay. I've got it down as far as it'll go. Yep, it is. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and finish up the base of the card. And on that one, as you noticed on, let me show you on the other one. I brought in this flower and let this sit up. Now what I did differently, and I think it'll still work out, was on this one I had trimmed it down because I thought it was needed to be, but I actually found out after I started playing with the card that I'd try it with a full base, and that way it had a little bit more structure here for the easel to prop up, and plus for when the card folds down. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me erase off my measurements here. And again, all my measurements will be out on there. So what we need to do is set our next daisy, and I don't see, put this off to the side, I don't see the other, there it is. Nope, that's the same one. Nah, there it is. Okay, so we don't have to take the time to do that. All right, so again, this one's going to be flat, so I'm not going to be placing any, curving the petals or anything like that. So we will go ahead and put a glue dot. Now I did use a dimensional behind it to prop it up a little bit, just to help with the easel portion of the card. So let's go ahead and put that down. Okay, and I need to go ahead and color me another facet. And again, we'll use the small one here. And then we'll use one of our small dimensions. And what I'll do before we put that down is I want to go ahead and adhere this. Now I did go ahead after I measured to make sure it would fit exactly right, is I used a strip of tear and tape back there, and you can use it on both ends. You just need to go up underneath here, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let's see what tear and tape is. There it is. Sorry about the noise. Those punches can get kind of noisy. All right, so we're going to put here and a piece here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that down and balanced. Okay, and then we'll take and put our daisy, I think right about here, and that's why you need this. Now you can lay it down a little bit further than that, like say here. So let's go ahead and I think we'll use, yeah, we already got one there. And what I wanted it to do, like I did in the original one, is I wanted some prop it up. That's why I kind of did an angle like so, and then I glued the other part down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the pieces that are going to be down firmly, and then we leave the other leaves available for them to prop up on. Okay, so let's prop that up there like so. And then just hold that down while it dries. Make sure, and it tucks right in there real nicely. All right, so let's go ahead and stick us a couple of leaves in here, and we are done. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you don't have a demonstrator and need one of our new catalogs, I would love to send you one. All you need to do is go to my blog and hit contact, and I'll get one right out in the mail to you. Just give me the information where to send it. And while you're out on my blog, you might want to take a look at some of my retired stamps that I have in the BOGO sale that I have going on with it. Let's lift this up just about right there, I think. Look great. Okay, so here's both of the cards. Didn't they just come out precious? This for my classes this coming Friday. This is one of the cards that we'll be making, and I like to let my class know ahead of time when I place one out onto my blog like this, so that they can go through and watch how it's done, and it makes it a little bit quicker. Even though I do give them instruction cards for measurements and stuff, it makes it a little bit easier for them to do. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and if you do like it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my blog and also to my YouTube channel. Until next time, happy stamping!